Now see next question. Okay. So next question is saying that the following information is given, and you have to calculate net profit ratio. Credit revenue from operations is given 8 lakh. Gross profit is given 30%. Again, question is silent regarding the percentage of what. So it will be assumed as percentage on revenue from operations. And for that, you can satisfy the examiner by writing the formula of gross profit ratio also. Then indirect expenses, 1,20,000. Calculate net profit ratio if cash revenue from operation is 20% of revenue from operation. Because in the question, credit revenue from operation is given only. So that's why, but we need total revenue from operation for the purpose of calculating net profit ratio. So first we will write the formula. Net profit ratio is equal to net profit after tax into 100 upon revenue from operation. If tax information will be available, we will be able to calculate net profit after tax. Otherwise, whatever net profit we are getting, that only we will be using in our solution. So now first thing I need net profit after tax. So net profit after tax, I will be able to calculate net profit is equal to gross profit minus indirect expenses. Minus indirect expenses. Now gross profit I will calculate gross profit is equal to 30% of revenue from operations. Again, I don't know in this question what is revenue from operations. I know only credit revenue from operations. So I need to calculate revenue from operations also. So now revenue from operations is equal to cash revenue from operations cash revenue from operations plus credit revenue from operations. I am using abbreviations only for the purpose of time saving as well as space constants. So please be particular about these things. Don't use abbreviations in exams. Now you can see here it is given cash revenue from operation is 20% of revenue from operation. So if my revenue from operation is 100, then cash revenue from operation will be 20. And then you can calculate this number also. Credit revenue from operation. So obviously it will be 80%. It will be 80%. So if my credit revenue, I know in this question the absolute amount of credit revenue from operation, and I want to calculate revenue from operation. So that's why I will keep this number in numerator and this number as denominator. So revenue from operation will be equal to 100 multiplied by 8 lakh and divided by 80. It will be done like this. Now if you will solve it and you will divide 8 lakh by 80, it will be 10,000. So your revenue from operation will be is equal to 100 multiplied by 10,000. And this number will be again equal to 10 lakh. This number will be equal to 10 lakh. So now this way we have got our revenue from operation. And now we can easily calculate gross profit. It will be is equal to 30 multiplied by 10 lakh upon 100. And that's why it will be is equal to, if you will solve it, 2 zeros will be removed from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will be 10,000 multiplied by 30. 30 multiplied by 10,000. And that's why our gross profit will be 3 lakh. Now I got the gross profit. I can calculate net profit also. Is equal to, gross profit is 3 lakh minus indirect expenses. Indirect expenses are given 1,20,000. So my net profit will be is equal to 1,80,000. Now I got my net profit also. So I will be able to calculate net profit ratio, 1,80,000 multiplied by 100 and divided by revenue from operation. Revenue from operation is 10 lakh. Yes. Now if you will solve it, you can see 2 plus 2, 4 to 6. 6 zeros are there in denominator and 6 zeros are there in numerator also. So if you will remove all zeros, you will get the answer and it will be 18 only, 18%. So your answer is 18%. So that will be our presentation. How to proceed in the question. See, only the formulas are there which will guide you to how to proceed in the question. Now coming to the last ratio, that is return on investment, ROI. In short, we call it ROI, return on investment. And the formula will be net profit before dividend, tax and interest multiplied by 100 upon capital employed. Now, first we should understand why we are considering net profit before dividend, tax and interest. Here, when we were calculating, we are saying that take net profit after tax. Here I am saying that take net profit before tax, interest and dividend. Because we are calculating here return on investment. Whatever amount I have invested in my business, I want to calculate how much income I am earning, how much profit I am earning on that investment. So whatever I am paying as tax, whatever I am paying as interest, or whatever I am paying as dividend even, that all actually first I am earning on my investment. Only after earning I am paying my interest, my tax and my dividend out of my income or out of my profit. So that's why actually I am taking here total amount of profit before giving any interest. Interest I give on loan, before giving any tax and before giving any dividend to the shareholders. Now I have invested two types of funds in my business. One is owner fund and one is borrowed funds. One is equity and one is debt. So earlier I also told you that equity plus debt means shareholder fund plus non-current liability is the amount of capital employed. So you can see the formula of capital employed, shareholder fund plus debt. And capital employed can also be non-current assets plus working capital, current assets minus current liabilities. So then only this part will left in the balance sheet. If I will add non-current assets plus current assets and I will subtract current liabilities, only this much part will left. So that is also another way of getting the formula of capital employed. Now how you will calculate net profit before dividend, tax and interest? So first thing you will add the dividend. If there is any dividend, either percentage will be there or either the amount will be there. Then afterwards add tax and then afterwards add interest. So you will be able to reach net profit before dividend, tax and interest. Okay, now see the next question. And why we are calculating this ratio? It aims to determine the overall performance of the enterprise. Because ultimately you will be knowing how much I am earning on my investment. Whatever amount of capital I am investing, whether it is owner fund or borrowed fund, what amount of percentage of profit I am earning. Suppose I am borrowing the funds at 13% per annum, but I am not able to earn 13% per annum. In one of the concepts in trading on equity, I told you this concept also there. So then I will be able to know proper amount of return which I need to earn, or what should be the cost of my funds. Okay, now see this question. With the help of following information, calculate return on investment. Net profit is a net profit after interest and tax. After interest and tax means that you have deducted from the profit, you have deducted interest and you have deducted tax also. That is the meaning of after interest and tax. And before interest and tax means that in the profit add back interest and tax, then it will become net profit before interest and tax. Before interest and tax means that before giving any interest and tax, before deducting any interest and tax. Then 10% debentures are given 10 lakh, tax is also given at the rate of 40%, capital employed is given rupees 80 lakh. Now capital employed is given. So first we will write the formula. So return on investment, I will write in short, return on investment is equal to net profit before interest, tax and dividend. Dividend is always paid in last, if you remember. So that's why if profit is given after tax and interest, that means it is before dividend. And here it will be multiplied by 100 also, multiplied by 100. And then in denominator, I will be putting revenue from capital employed. So capital employed. Now capital employed itself is given in the question. Rest I have to check. So first I will calculate net profit before interest and tax. Net profit before interest and tax. That I will calculate first. Is equal to, now net profit is given 6 lakh plus interest plus tax. These I have to add back. Now whatever amount of profit I have earned, on that I have paid 40% tax. So net profit before tax, suppose it is equal to 100. I should assume it 100. that net profit before tax is equal to 100. Then I have paid tax out of that, less tax 40%. So 40% tax if I am paying, so I will deduct 40 from there, and my profit after tax will be 60%. Profit after tax will be is equal to 60. Now, if I want to calculate profit before tax, means 100, I will keep in numerator. And this profit I know, profit after tax I know, that is given 6 lakh to me. So with the help of these numbers, I will be able to calculate net profit before tax is equal to 100 multiplied by 6 lakh and divided by 60. So if I will divide it by 60, now what I will get, you can see, if I will divide 6 lakh by 60, it will become 10,000. So my net profit before tax will be 10 lakh. Now I can calculate interest is equal to, in question it is given 10% debentures and the amount is given 10 lakh. So 10% of outstanding debentures so it will be equal to, debentures are 10 lakh, so 10% of 10 lakh, interest will be equal to 1 lakh. So here net profit before tax and interest is equal to net profit before tax plus interest. So net profit before tax is 10 lakh plus interest, it will be 1 lakh. So it will be now 11 lakh. Now I got the numerator, net profit before interest and tax. I can calculate return on investment. So 11 lakh multiplied by 100, and capital employed is given in the question itself. Capital employed is given 80 lakh. So I will divide this number by 80 lakh. Now if you will simplify it, so 1, 2, 3, 6 zeros are there and 7 zeros are there in numerator. 6 zeros are there in denominator. So it will be 110 divided by 8. And now you can cut it short. It will be is equal to 55 divided by 4. So if I will solve it, 4 ones are 4, then 15 will be there, 4 3s are 12, 2 0, 13.5. 4 ones are 4, and 1 5 4 is a 12, 30, 4 7 is a 28, and 0.74, yes, 13.75%. So this is my return on investment. So now if I am borrowing the funds, you can see I have borrowed the funds at the cost of 10%, but actually I am earning on my funds 13.75%. So that will be the concept of trading on equity. That is a concept of trading on equity, that I am earning more than the percentage I have to pay as interest. I am earning more than that. In that case, I will get some advantage and my earning per share will increase up to a limit. Now we can see one more question. State with reason whether the following transitions will increase, decrease, or not change the return on investment. So first point is given: purchase of machinery worth rupees 2 lakh by issue of equity shares. You have purchased a machinery for rupees 2 lakh and you have issued equity shares for the payment of that machinery. Now what will happen? You have to first check its effect on your you have to check its effect on two variables. One variable is profit before interest and tax and dividend, and then capital employed. So now you see, if you are purchasing any machinery, it will not affect your profit. But because you are issuing equity shares, your capital employed will increase because your equity share capital will increase. That's why your denominator will increase. And due to that, because only denominator is increasing, in that case, your ratio will decrease. Your ratio will decrease. So the reason you will write no change in net profit before interest, tax, and dividend and dividend, but equity share capital is increasing, or but capital employed is increasing. This is the reason. You have to write the reason always. Now coming to the second point, charge in depreciation of rupees 5,000 on machinery. Now when you will charge depreciation on this machinery, obviously your profit will get decreased. Your profit is decreasing. But because profit is also part of your capital employed, so your capital employed will also decrease. So both are decreasing. That's why again this ratio will decrease. Both net profit, I am writing in short net profit, but you need to write net profit before interest, tax, and dividend. Okay, I should write net profit before interest, tax, and dividend is decreasing. So that's why my ratio will also decrease. Now the third point is charging depreciation, redemption of debentures in cash rupees 70,000. Now redemption of debentures means that whatever debentures I have issued, I am redeeming them. Redeeming them means I am repaying the amount of debentures. So when you will repay the amount of debentures, the journal entry will be debenture account debit to bank account. So bank is your current assets and debenture liability will get finished. So now neither cash nor debentures, they will not affect your profit. they will not affect your profit. So profit will not get affected, but your loan is reducing, your debentures are reducing. So that's why what is happening, your capital employed is reducing. Because of that factor, what is happening, numerator is not changing, but denominator is changing. And denominator is decreasing. In that case, ratio will increase. So you can say no effect on profit, on net profit before interest, tax and dividend and capital employed is decreasing. Capital employed is decreasing. Now fourth one is converting rupees 50,000 9% debentures into equity shares. So debentures and equity shares both are part of capital employed. What you are doing, you are converting your debentures into equity shares. So the money is for debentures will be reducing and equity shares will be increasing by the same amount, rupees 50,000. So ultimately your capital employed will remain same because debentures and equity shares both are part of your capital employed. So your loan is reducing, but your capital is increasing. So both will be changing, but ultimately your capital employed will remain same. So denominator will remain same. And ultimately there will be no effect on profits. If you are converting your debentures into equity shares, it will not affect your profits. Profits will remain same. So because your capital employed is also same and your profit is also same, it is not no factor is changing. That's why ratio will remain same and the effect will be no change. Because both are not changing, that is the reason that ratio will remain same. So this way we have completed this chapter, ratio analysis. You can see till now we have done in class 46 questions we have done. So you will find many questions and illustrations for these topics, for these all ratios, which needs a lot of practice, a lot of concept clarity, lot of presentation. So please try to practice that formula all. And on Monday onwards, we will try to start revision work.